Hotkey Books presents Bingsu for Two, written by Sujin Witherspoon and read by Keong Sim. For those struggling with the question of who they are, maybe it's not about the answer. Chapter 1. A lot of bad decisions led me to this moment, but in my defense, I made them really fast. When I woke up this morning with a feeling that this was going to be the worst day of my life so far, I brushed it off as a self-destructive voice in my head doing his daily affirmations. I was wrong. This is turning out to be the worst day of my life ever. I'm not usually this pessimistic, but I think I'm allowed to mope in the privacy of my own thoughts after what happened last night. Or maybe I'm not, because this whole mess is my own fault. I'm just not going to think about it, because that's a healthy way to deal with your problems, River. The dreadful symphony of test pages being flipped and scribbled on with number 2 pencils snaps me out of my spiraling. I sit up a little straighter in these god-awful chairs, glancing around the cafeteria-turned-testing room. This probably isn't the best time to reflect on my mistakes, since I'm supposed to be taking the most important test of my 17-year-old life. My blank Scantron and unopened SAT booklet stare at me from the desk. The clock in the corner of the cafeteria ticks in time to my rapidly beating heart. How has an hour already passed? I'm running out of time. And air? It's stuffy in here. Panic rushes up my esophagus and perches below my chin, ready to spew all over my test. At least then I'd have something to turn in. I lean forward and hold my head in my hands, leg bouncing under the table. I should have prepared for this. There's no amount of last-minute cramming that can make up for an entire academic career of slacking off and barely scraping through grade levels on C's and the occasional B. But I should have at least tried to study, or gotten a good night's sleep, or hey, maybe not have dumped my girlfriend of almost 4 years out of the blue. My eyes drift a few rows over, locking onto the back of a head of long, ash-blonde hair. Cecilia Campbell tucks a strand of it behind her ear, exposing the side of her face. There are deep circles under her eyes that aren't usually there, but she's still beautiful, always is, even last night when those eyes watered as I told her, I just can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. As if she can feel me staring, or the universe just hates me, which would also make sense, Cecilia glances over her shoulder and meets my gaze. Seeing her heart break for the second time in 24 hours, across the aisles of desks and students between us, snaps the last tether in my mind, grounding me to reality. I don't even realize I'm standing until the squeal of my chair against the linoleum floor echoes through the cafeteria. Hundreds of eyes are on me in seconds. Their stares peel the skin from my bones. Langston-Lee, Mrs. Klug, the principal and proctor, sits up from her perch at the front of the room. If you have a question, raise your hand and I'll come to you. My lips part, but no sound escapes. The room spins. My teeth vibrate in my gums, making my jaw chatter. I have to go, I manage to say. No one's allowed to leave the testing room. Please sit down. But my legs are moving on their own. I need to get out of here, get away. Mrs. Klug yells something as I pick up my backpack and thermos of coffee and sprint out the doors. I flee the musty confines of Summit Sierra High School and find myself on the busy streets of Seattle. The cool, misty air helps regulate my system, and after a few blocks, I feel almost normal. Well, not on the verge of a panic attack anymore, which is an improvement. A desperate laugh bubbles out of me like an indigestion burp. Raincoat-clad strangers passing by on the busy sidewalk glance at me before scuttling away. I duck my head and hold my thermos of coffee closer to my chest as I continue walking. Home certainly isn't an option right now, not unless I want to explain to Amma and Dad why I'm not at school, so I head to work. Going in a few hours early can't hurt.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?